Welcome back, welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on KCBQ. Jason Hall with Sierra Pacific Mortgage followed through on his challenge and did his 30 push-ups during the break.
I'm tired, Kyle.
Piece of cake.
That was impressive, and he didn't even do it from his knees. I'm impressed, Jason.
Yeah, you guys on my knees, man. This is so funny. You know, for those listening, I'm only 44, but in Kyle's group that I hang out with, I'm the old guy at 44 and the fat guy, even still in my 230s. So that's kind of our fun stuff.
So what is the fat guy doing for Labor Day weekend?
Well, I'll be running, as you know, Kyle. And we have Saturday, Fallbrook Pop Warner. We are playing against Escondido Pop Warner, the junior peewee. So I coach a little 9-10-year-old team, and I actually have a 10-year-old girl, guys, on the team. And she was my first day. I don't practice coach every day, right? Because it's in Fallbrook, and I live out here in San Diego. It's 60 miles each way, but I go up there a couple times a week. She's in pads. I haven't met her yet. I didn't even know we had a girl on the team. She's crushing this kid. And I go, great job, son. Jump up. What's your name? She spits out her mouthpiece. Coach, I'm a girl. I'm like going, what?
Nice.
I go, what's your name? She goes, Tiana. I go, Tiana, nice to meet you, man. I love it. She crushed the guys the whole time. So at the end of practice, we're setting up our defensive. She's our starting outside linebacker.
Wow.
So she runs up to me. And again, the first time I've met her, she's met me. And she goes, Coach, am I really going to be a starting linebacker? I'm like, the way you're hitting these boys, you can play any position, Tiana, you want. So we're doing that. We have our first preseason game Saturday in Escondido. So.
Very cool. And then Jim Sprouse with Kane Advisory Group. What do you got going on?
You know, I just thought about something very, very cool. I'm going to make a little plug here. I don't really watch TV very much, but my girlfriend had turned me on to something called American Ninja Warrior. You guys ever hear about American Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, big fan.
All right, so do you know who Rockman is?
Yes.
Rockman, I'm going to be hanging out with him Friday night.
Okay.
He's staying with me. That's my girlfriend's brother. He's 53. Talk about setting goals and going through life, whether you're in your 40s or 50s. This guy's an animal. So he's coming down. They live up in St. George, Utah. I just thought about this. They're coming down, and hopefully he can show some pointers on the goals I have set with the running and the Spartan Beast and all that stuff. So Rockman will be down on Friday night, and he's a really kind of reserved guy. So kind of interested. People like, hey, got your autograph. You know, he's somewhat famous on American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, everybody's got personas on there. It's definitely.
All right, so what's American Ninja Warrior for the old guy?
American Ninja Warrior is like the ultimate obstacle course, and it originated in Japan, and it's moved here to America, so it's the American Ninja Warrior version, and it is just the craziest obstacle course I think you could ever imagine. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is. The guys that do well in it, they are a mix of rock climbers, guys that do parkour, they do free running, a lot of like stuntmen do it, and for the first year ever, so speaking of the ladies, there's a girl, Casey Catanzaro, she's the first woman to ever complete the finals course in American Ninja Warrior, which was awesome. So if you ever want to get inspired as a female, definitely look up Mighty Casey, American Ninja Warrior on YouTube. She's absolutely insane. She's like 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, and she dominates this course that like 95% of the men that train year-round can't even finish.
Wow.
So it's something really, really inspirational.
She was the first girl to finish it, right? Is that what you said?
First one to finish.
Actually go all the way through.
All the way through, yeah. So she was the first to finish the halfway point, which is the qualifying course, and then they come back again and do the finals course, and she even finished that too. So she was the first to do both. And so now they move on to Las Vegas, and then they compete there. It's a really, really cool show.
Nice. So they're going to be in town this weekend, Jim, so you should have a great weekend.
Doing some running, and I got into surfing, living in San Diego, kid from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know, you live in San Diego, you got to get out there. So I'll get caught in the washing machine a couple times this weekend.
Nice.
Sure.
Yeah, so I got an article here. I guess the surf is huge right now. So today is one of the biggest days. It's some of the biggest surf we've had in San Diego in like a decade.
Wow.
From what I'm hearing, the waves could be up to double overhead, maybe triple overhead, up to 15 feet.
Let me
at the
retract
beaches
my
in San
statement. I'm
Diego.
not going surfing.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're not a pro, this may not be the weekend.
When I
to
hear
go surfing.
hazard and beach, I don't go to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Pennsylvania kid comes back where it's like, oh my gosh, there's earthquakes in California and there's tidal waves.
Yeah, 15-foot waves. That is not the time to go out and see if you're a good surfer or not. Leave it to the pros. If you're thinking about getting out there today or anytime this weekend, there's a big hurricane down off of Baja, and it's making huge surfs. Go out there, bring a camera, record it. It'll be awesome to watch, but might not be the best thing to jump in that water right now.
Spectator weekend.
Definitely. So speaking of water, we got the guys over here with ServPro, Mike Ofelt and owner Michael Liu. So let's talk a little bit about what is ServPro, and we're talking about waves and water and all that stuff. I know that water damage, water remediation is like a really big thing going on right now. Talk a little bit about who you guys are and what you can do to kind of help our listeners out.
Well, ServPro is a nationwide franchise system, and I own one of the franchises here in San Diego, which is ServPro of Centre City, Uptown. And what we primarily do is when people have unfortunate water losses, and what I mean by that is, say you're at work one day and you come home and there's water all over your house.
Floor.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Who do you call?
Well, I want you to call ServPro of Centre City because we'll take good care of you. So basically, we specialize in emergency drying services. And Friday night you come home from work and you call your insurance company, and maybe they're all home for the weekend, and you're standing in water and you need this water sucked out. You need your house started to get drying, getting the drying process going. That's what we specialize.
So you have all the big machinery, that helps dry it out once you get all the water. You suck it all up with suction stuff. I assume things like,
Correct.
So.
If we have truck mounts on our vehicles, so it comes out and we suck
Wow.
it all out.
Right up into the truck, so it goes right from the
into-
house or condo directly into the truck?
In the truck, if you can reach
Nice.
it. If you're up on the 15th floor, then we'll bring portables and extract the water out at that point. And,
So what's the worst damage you've seen personally, or your company's seen?
the worst ever. Well, we do a lot of military work too.
Okay.
And all I can say is that the military feed our men a lot of corn.
It's clogged, right? Is that what you're saying?
It's clogged, it backs up. They'll call us and they'll say, oh, get out of here, it's a mess. And we're not going to clean it ourselves, so we can call you.
That's a crappy job, man.
Oh.
Yeah, I always tell my kids that, Dad went to college so that he can clean it. Poop.
Yeah, yeah.
Where'd
Where'd
I
you
would have
go
said
to,
the other words.
Mike, where'd you go to college?
I went to UCSD
All right,
back in the early 80s.
all right. So Triton, right? UCSD?
UCSD Triton, yes.
Yeah.
The most thrilling school in all of San Diego, I can attest to.
Yeah,
after
Kyle
a
also
few years
graduated
of
from
going
UCSD.
Yeah, the most exciting day is when they decided to take a big watermelon on top of a building and throw it down.
Yeah,
That was
if you're
about it.
looking for a school with very good education, UCSD is terrific.
Right.
If you are looking for a school where there's a lot of fun college activities, so to speak, might not be the best college for you.
So if you're a
Yeah.
parent, you send your kids to UCSD, and if you're a kid, you want to go to like San Diego State.
Absolutely. I went into college with the C's get degrees philosophy at UCSD.
C's get D's?
C's get degrees.
Oh, C's to get degrees.
Yeah,
Okay.
and after 1/4 of getting C's at UCSD, I decided this might not be the right school for me. Let me go over to San Diego State, and they shot me down. They said, nope, you had a 1.8 GPA. We know what kind of college student you're going to be. Sorry. It's like, I had a 4.2 in high school. We don't care. We know what kind of
Wow.
college student you're going to be.
So it's a good thing San Diego State shut you down, so you're able to stay at UCSD,
It's a good school.
finish your degree, and you've probably done okay.
Trying.
Yeah, still trying.
Trying. UCSD is one of the coolest schools. I mean, I had friends who had dorm rooms with ocean views. Like,
Wow.
where do you get a dorm room with a freaking ocean view? I mean,
Mike, did
it's
you have an
amazing.
ocean view?
I lived at home.
Oh, you lived at home.
Yeah.
I thought maybe with an ocean view, you thought of having a water business and start ServPro. So
That's too much water.
it's too much water.
So, yeah, talk a little bit about, so when somebody comes home to a house and they've got a flood, what should they do? Because I think a lot of people don't know what to do when something like that happens. They just freak out. They call their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister, their friend. What should somebody really be doing?
They should pick up the phone and call ServPro of Centre City.
Okay.
Nice.
Because one of the things I think that people don't understand is that a tiny, tiny little water leak can turn into something so huge so quickly. It could just be a tiny little leak underneath a kitchen cabinet, and if that's not addressed, then that little leak can turn into water damage, which the water damage can turn into mold, and the mold can turn into a gigantic job. So, I mean, mold as a realtor, it's a word that we hate to see because anytime there is mold, it ends up being really costly. So, I mean, what can people do to avoid getting to that point?
Well, the first thing they need to do is if they notice that they're starting to get a drip, call the plumber, get it taken care of. Occasionally look under your sinks and just, if everything's dry, looks good, then you're fine. But I think what happens is sometimes people might see a little drip, I'll get to it. And what they fail to realize is that, water pressure changes. And at night, the water pressure in the lines go up because people aren't using water as much.
Right, supply and demand makes sense.
Right, and so a lot of times people go to bed and they wake up, get off the bed and they jump.
And they're in water.
Squish, 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 yeah.
So any leak is now a big leak.
Big leak, yeah.
Well, I can tell you what happened to us years ago. We were living in Scripps Ranch. We bought the house, and it had a 3-car garage, and we wanted some nice garage cabinets and, you know, closet organizers, stuff like that. So my wife hired a company. They came in, organized our closets, did all the stuff, and they went in the garage and put all these nice big shelves and stuff, and they screwed those things right into the wall, right? A year and a half later, I started noticing on my outside of my garage a little water spot. And I'm thinking, oh, the sprinklers are hitting it, and the next day it's a little bit bigger, and the next day it's a little bit bigger. And sure enough, I do a little bit of research. I'm getting over there and I find this leak. I call a flood restoration company at that point. Actually, I called the plumber to come out. He then called the flood restoration company. This was 10 years ago, Mike. And what we discovered is they screwed right into one of our water pipes.
Right.
And what happened is it you know, since they were using, you know, machinery that was so fast and it was right in there, they didn't even know there was no leak at the time, but water erodes the metal of the screw. And little by little, that leak grew and grew and grew. And I had to threaten them with a lawsuit to even get them to insure the coverage of everything we lost. But that was kind of an interesting thing for us. That was something we personally saw that, you know, called in a company like yourselves.
Yeah, it just goes to show that, you know, those little tiny problems can turn into gigantic headaches, you know, if they're not taken care of quickly. And I know you guys do a lot of fire stuff as well, so I personally flip a lot of properties here in San Diego, and where you run into houses that have fire damage, how is a fire damaged house, what has to be done differently there than your average, you know, house that you're just tearing the drywall, putting stuff back together? What are some of the unique things that you guys run into doing fire remediation?
Well, in a fire remediation, the key is everything has to get touched when you talk about cleaning. Okay? And if fire, depending on the size and depending on the type of fire it is, some fires where everything just gets burned, everything just got to get removed. There are some fires, like kitchen fires, where there's just a lot of smoke.
Right.
Okay, and so in those cases, it just involves a lot of cleaning. And
Okay.
it's just a matter of making sure that everything gets touched and cleaned to a point where the odor is now gone.
Okay.
So the key is, if you always smell odor, that means there's still residue.
So my cleaning crew ladies probably would be the ones I should call after a fire.
No, yeah, they'll clean your countertop, but they're not going to clean the walls, they're not going to clean the ceiling, they're not going to clean the light fixtures, they're not going to clean inside your cabinets. These are all things that
The true professional
a true
company.
professional, right? And then you got to also use the right type of detergents and cleaners. Okay, you know, Windex isn't going to get the smoke suit off.
All right, good point.
Is Windex going to get the mold off my cabinets?
It'll be nice and shiny, but the mold might still be there.
A lot of people think when it comes to mold that they can just put some water and some bleach together and make mold go away. Is that true?
Not really. What bleach does is, you got to remember, a bleach is a EPA approved product.
Right.
And you have to use it according to its label. And if you read the label on bleach, it doesn't say use bleach to remove mold.
Right.
It's used there for laundry purposes. And so what bleach is.
So it might
really
kill a
gonna do-
little bit, but it doesn't do the full job.
Correct, yes. I mean, it's gonna smell clean, smell very bleachy, and then the bleach will also discolor it to bleach it white. So you look at it and go, oh, everything's fine, and then you're gonna notice a few weeks later that it came back.
Okay.
So
Definitely. So if you want to reach out to the guys here at ServPro, shoot us a text message, 619-663-7355, 619-663-SELL. We will connect you, Michael Ofeld, Michael Liu over at ServPro of Centre City. Love to help you connect with these guys. They can be there and be that resource for you if you ever have any fire or water damage at your house. When we get back, we're going to talk with Jim Sprouse, VP over at Kane Advisory Group, and talk about some of the things they can help you do with your finances here in San Diego. You're listening to Whissel Wednesdays on KCBQ 1170.